Namaste. Namaste,
Yes.
Lady.
Namaste, Ma. Namaste. Shall we start, Mamata? Both men and animals are identical in essence as far as the formation of matter goes. That was the last sentence we read last time. We discussed about that orangutan, that ape. So we discussed about the apes, the qualities of the ape, and then animal and man. The ancients believed man is a trinity, body, astral soul or spirit, and the immortal spirit or soul. So this is what the ancients believed man is made of. The animal has a physical body and an astral spirit animating or moving it. Both men and animals are identical in essence as far as the formation of matter goes. This is where we stopped. Then we move on. The atoms of an ox and the atoms of man are the same, says Theosophy. The atoms of an ox and the atoms of a man are the same, says Theosophy. So, as far as the matter goes, there's nothing much to choose between. Both are same. The atoms of man and the atoms of an ox are one and the same. Kabbalists and ancients agree on this point, saying that the matter is same. Matter in animal and matter in man is one and the same, is what the Kabbalists and the ancients also agree on this. They also say, the Kabbalists also say that man is made of a trinity, body, the astral spirit, and the immortal spirit. This is what the Kabbalists described it. They also agreed the matter is same between animal and man is made of trinity, body, the astral spirit, and the immortal spirit. Physical man is but the highest development of an animal life. This is another piece of information which these Kabbalists are giving. The physical man is but the highest development of an animal life. This is the information the Kabbalist is adding to the Trinity. Even thought is matter, and every sensation of pain or pleasure, every transient desire is accompanied by a disturbance of ether. They're talking about our actions disturbing the ether. So even thought is matter. Thought is matter how? It is a very thin variety is what perhaps they're suggesting. Even thought is matter, and every sensation of pain or pleasure, every transient desire is temporary desire, is accompanied by a disturbance of ether. So whatever happens, if there is a pain to the person or pleasure to the person, if some desire has come and gone, it's a transient one. All these things, they definitely accompany and disturb the ether. So even thought is matter is what Kabbalists believed. Not only this, thought is capable of disturbing matter of the other universe. So we are in one universe, say for example universe A. Our thought is capable of disturbing the matter of another universe, say B. So the thoughts of a person who is sitting in the universe A, his thought has got the capability of disturbing the other universe, which is different from A, say B. So this is what is the information given by the Unseen Universe, the authors. This book we have considered a number of times. We have taken a lot of quotations as marked by Madam Blavatsky. So, what is that we are starting today? The atoms, the physical atoms of an ox and the atoms of man are the same. This is what theosophy is saying. The same is the thing given by the ancient philosophers. The ancient philosophers also said the animal has a physical body and an astral spirit animating and moving it. Man is a trinity, body, astral spirit and immortal spirit. This is what the ancients also believe. And the Kabbalists also agree with the ancients on both the points, that the atoms of man and atoms of animal are one and the same. And then the trinity, the composition of man is trinity, is what the Kabbalists also agree. So according to the Kabbalists also, we have the physical body, we have the astral spirit, we have the immortal spirit. So physical man is but the highest development of an animal life. If the animal has taken life after life and has evolved over a period of time or period of years, the highest development is man. So next information which they are giving, even thought is matter. Even thought is matter. And every sensation of pain or pleasure, every transient desire is accompanied by a disturbance of ether. Not only this, our thought is capable of disturbing matter of the other universe. Say, the authors of the Unseen Universe. This is a book written by two people, the Unseen Universe. So this is what they are conveying, that our thought can disturb even the matter or even the other universe. So it disturbs, our ether is all right, but it can also disturb the ether or matter existing in another universe. There are some persons who believe that the thoughts of animals also will cause an impression on ether. There are some group of people, some persons who believe that the thoughts of animals also will cause an impression on ether. A lot of times we are told in theosophy that the animal has only an instinct. It has no mind of its own. So we have to understand it as the statement made by the ancients. There are some persons, there are a group of persons who believe that the thoughts of animals also will cause an impression on ether. So there is a possibility of animals having life after death. This is what they believe. So they believe animals have got the capacity to think. But whereas theosophy says they go by instinct, which is perhaps a lower kind of thinking ability. So animals go by instinct is what theosophy says. But these ancients believed, these group of people believed that the thoughts of animals also will cause an impression on ether. And so therefore, there is possibility of animals having life after death. This is what they conveyed. The Kabbalists hold the view that it is not right to imagine that astral body will survive after the death of the physical body. This is their talking about man. The Kabbalists hold the view that it is not right to imagine that astral body will survive after the death of the physical body. Physical body dies and along with astral body also goes, is perhaps what they believed. So there is nothing like surviving after the physical death. So the Kabbalists hold the view that it is not right to imagine that astral body will survive after the death of the physical body. Kabbalists also say that the body of the ape, orangutan or something, the body of the ape gets disintegrated into separate molecules. The physical body of an ape, Kabbalists also say that the body of the ape gets disintegrated into separate molecules at the death of that particular ape. So the Kabbalists say that the astral soul survives The astral body is not there, they say. There is no astral body, but there is an astral soul. There is a small difference. We call it astral body having life. Having life, so it has got an ability to move forward or stay at a place where it is destined to stay. But here they say, the Kabbalists believe that astral body will not survive. It is not right to imagine that astral body will survive in man after the death of the physical body. Kabbalists also say that the body of the ape gets disintegrated into separate molecules. That is exactly the procedure which the people follow, either by interning the body or by cremating the body. The idea is to see that these components of these bodies, they get back to the 5 elements. That's the reason why they do this. So the body of the ape gets disintegrated into separate molecules. So if you don't do this and allow the nature to take care, it takes a long time. So even then, the body of the ape gets disintegrated into separate molecules. The Kabbalists say that the astral soul survives the death of the physical body of man. The Kabbalists say that there is an astral soul and the physical body and the immortal soul. That is what they believe. So the Kabbalists say the astral soul survives, astral body doesn't survive. That is what they make a distinction. The Kabbalists say that the astral soul survives the death of the physical body of man. After the death of the physical body of man, the astral soul is surviving. Plato and his followers agree with this observation of the Kabbalists. Plato and his followers, they also agree with this observation of the Kabbalists and call it a mortal soul. A mortal soul, not immortal, mortal, M-O-R-T-A-L, meaning it has death after all, mortal soul. So even this gets disintegrated or dies, as it is called mortal, M-O-R-T-A-L, mortal. Immortal is always living. Mortal is something which has death. So Plato and his followers agree with the observations of the Kabbalists, where they say the astral soul survives after the death of the physical body. So the Plato and his followers also agree with this and call it a mortal soul. So even this gets disintegrated or dies, as it is called mortal. Now, HPB is bringing in Socrates. Socrates says to Callicles, C-A-L-L-I-C-L-E-S. This is another person to whom he addressed. Socrates says to Callicles that this mortal soul retains all the characteristics of the physical body. This is what Socrates is saying to one of his disciples, that this mortal soul, which has been described by Plato and his followers, and what Socrates says, this mortal soul retains all the characteristics of the physical body, so much so the marks inflicted on the physical gets reflected on the mortal soul or the astral body. The marks inflicted on the physical gets reflected on the astral body or mortal soul. Astral body, they are not recognizing. I am wrong in using astral body. It is astral soul or mortal soul. Astral soul or mortal soul. So the marks inflicted on the physical gets reflected on the mortal soul. Converse also is true. Whatever happens here comes back to the physical body. So both are possible. So someone is whipped. Using a whip, somebody has been whipped. The scars will be traceable on the astral body. The scars, actually the whipping is done to the physical body, but the scars are the traces of the marks which have appeared on the physical body when that was inflicted with this injury due to whipping. Someone is whipped, so the scars will be traceable on the astral soul or mortal soul. The astral is almost the faithful double or duplicate of the physical body. The astral soul is almost the faithful double or duplicate of the body physical. So faithful double because it exactly responds or resembles the physical body. So that's why it is said the astral soul is almost the faithful double or duplicate of the body physical in all respects. So this is an interesting thing. Somebody is whipped or somebody is injured, somebody has inflicted an injury on the physical body. What Socrates told his disciple, the mortal soul retains all the characteristics of the physical body. The physical body will receive the scar or will receive the mark of the whipping. So this is not only visible or possible to be seen on the physical body, but also the mortal soul or the astral soul also registers the marks. The converse is also true. Why? Converse is also true. Sometimes the injury is on the astral body. The injury is in the astral body. But when you wake up in the morning, this is something a lot of people have experienced. I myself have experienced in my life number of times. The astral body of mine has received aberrations. So when I get up in the morning, when I was about to sleep, it was not there. When I get up in the morning, I see the aberrations on my physical body. So both are possible. The physical body's scars appearing on the astral aberrations appearing on the physical. Both are true. Converse also is true. So when someone is whipped, the scars will be traceable on the astral soul. The astral is almost the faithful double or duplicate of the body physical. So this is what we have to remember. In all respects, this is just a duplicate. So when you call that, as per theosophical parlance, the physical body and the astral body, this description holds good. We have the etheric double in between. So etheric double also is part of the physical. These two fall away first. And then what we have is an astral body. So astral body has close resemblance. If not very, very close resemblance, it has a close resemblance to the physical body. This is what they were trying to describe. The astral soul is almost the faithful double or duplicate of the physical body in all respects. Next, the Kabbalists say, the Jews, they say the highest divine spirit. Kabbalists were Jews. So I'm adding it once in a way so that you should remember that they are Jews. The Kabbalists say that the highest divine spirit, the immortal being, can neither be rewarded or punished. The Kabbalists, the Jewish people, they say the highest divine spirit, the immortal being. Immortal being is a being which lives forever. It is not mortal, it is immortal. Immortal being can neither be rewarded or punished. Can be the highest divine spirit, the immortal being, can neither be rewarded or punished. So this is what they say. So theosophy also says, we know this, hell or heaven are no destinations. So there's no question of suffering after death. We pay for whatever misdeeds we have done, all right, in the next life. So there is no question of punishment somewhere. There is no question of somebody handing out punishment to us. So this is what they were trying to convey. The Kabbalists, the Jews, they say the highest divine spirit, the immortal being, can neither be rewarded or punished. So rewarding is also not there, punishment is also not there. This is what is being conveyed by the Kabbalists. And so theosophy says hell or heaven are no destinations at all. Kabbalists believe that the astral being lives depending on the wish of the man. Kabbalists believe that the astral being lives depending on the wish of the man. And we are giving at every place what theosophy says only for the sake of understanding, comparing. Theosophy says astral body is alive till all desireful sensations disappear completely. So, astral being lives depending on the wish of the man. What is the wish of the man? Suppose he has been wishing for a lot of things, lot of sensations, lot of desires. Even according to the Kabbalists, suppose the person, the man, he was wishing for so many things. He was wanting to experience so many things. He was interested in so many habits or desires. So till such time, all those things remain, the astral being remains. This is what Kabbalists are conveying. Kabbalists believe that the astral being lives depending on the wish of the man. Wish of the man means as long as he keeps on wishing, I want this, I want that, all those things, if they keep on having it, then the astral being is alive. Theosophy also says the astral body is alive till all desireful sensations disappear completely. So when everything is complete, when the desire is, all desires, shades of desires, everything is removed, then there is a death to the astral body. So as long as that doesn't happen, there are a lot of desires which the astral body is having. As long as those desires are there, the astral body is alive. As long as the astral body is alive, perhaps there is a lot of confusion it goes through. Wanting to experience something in the physical, not able to experience, all that is leading to a lot of confusion and disappointment. So, the astral body, according to theosophy, is alive till all desireful sensations disappear completely. Then that astral body falls off. So this is what we've been told. Yes. Then we come to immortality can be really compared to a fountain in a fountain of inexhaustible continuous light. Immortality can be really compared to a fountain of inexhaustible continuous light. So this is how they are describing immortality. Because that spirit is immortal, there is an immortal soul. The immortal soul has a certain amount of light, or the content is shining. So the immortality can be really compared to a fountain of inexhaustible continuous light. Inexhaustible continuous light. So that light can never disappear. The light is always there. So that sort of inexhaustible continuous light is the part and parcel of immortality. Immortality can be really compared to a fountain of inexhaustible continuous light. This is well taken. This is because immortality means the soul is living. So a living soul, because there is a lot of life in it, it has got the brightness about it. The astral body has the divine spark. The astral body too has this divine spark. That portion goes to higher planes. What it means is there is a remnant even after all the desires are satisfied, everything is over, that is dying, astral body is dying, but there is something divine and something which relates to the higher plane, which escapes from there and goes to the next plane. That's what these people, Kabbalists, are believing. The Kabbalists first believed immortality can be really compared to a fountain of inexhaustible continuous light. Then they say the astral body has the divine spark, that portion which is not completely removed from the astral body, it is still there, it goes to the higher planes. So this is what is conveyed by the Kabbalists. Then there's one more statement they are making. Those who lived a material existence, those men, I should add men, those who lived a material existence, not recognizing the divinity in them. I'm living, but I'm not aware of the divinity within me. That's what it means. Those men who lived a material existence, they went by materialist attitudes. So those men who lived a material existence, not recognizing the divinity in them, will have to follow the laws of that sort of existence. There are some rules or laws. So that laws have to be honored by those people who don't live by the spirit, but they lived all through when they were living on the earth by materialism. So those men who lived a material existence, they concentrated on being materially happy. So those men who lived a material existence, not recognizing the divinity, they didn't bother to recognize the divinity which is in them. They only cared or catered for the material sensations, material satisfaction, etc. So they did not recognize the divinity. So because that has happened, they have not recognized the divinity. That particular unit, that particular person will have to follow the laws, LAWS, laws of that sort of existence. So because you have lived on the physical earth without realizing that there is a divinity which is part of you, and you went by the material pursuit, you only cared for bringing out happiness into one's life depending on materialistic pursuits. So those who lived a material existence like that, they'll have to honor the laws of that sort of existence. So because they lived like that, there must be a rule by which they have to go. So that is what is expected out of them. So those who lived not caring for the messages of the conscience, which is the ray of light. So these people who lived by materialism, they did not bother also about conscience, atmasakshi as we call it. So those who lived not caring for the messages of the conscience, which is the ray of the light, the eternal light. The conscience is a ray of the eternal light. They have to live the life of not recognizing the higher spheres. So they can't recognize the higher spheres because they never bother about life after the physical. They were only bothered about materialistic pursuits and happiness. So they never recognized the divinity in them. Also, they never cared to listen to the voice of the conscience. So because of all these three, they have to go by the laws which are prevalent, which will take care of such people. The laws, the rules of these existence will make them live according to a method by which they are not able to recognize the higher spheres. They'll never be aware because they never were aware when they were here on the earth. So when they pass away also, they are not taken to the higher spheres. They somehow manage to live wherever they have to live for the rest of the time, till such time the reincarnation takes place. They live somewhere in between. They don't go to the higher spheres. This is what the book is saying. So, those who lived a material existence, not recognizing the divinity in them, will have to follow the laws, LAWS, of that sort of existence, the rules of that sort of existence. Those who lived not caring for the messages of the conscience. Conscience always constantly gives you messages. So if one is not interested in listening to the messages of the conscience, what is conscience? It is described, it is the ray of the eternal light. Immortal spirit has a light, continuous light. It looks as though it is part of an inexhaustible fountain. So that light, so that ray of light is conscience. The ray of that light is conscience. So they have not bothered about conscience, neither they were bothered about anything else other than materialism. So what do after death? They have to live the life of not recognizing the higher spheres. So for them, the life after death or the higher spheres are not existing. So they fall in between somewhere and they have to spend the time there. That's what the law says. Theosophy also says those who do not trust that there is life after death face the same fate. Theosophy also says those who do not trust that there is life after death face the same fate. They stay in a state of not recognizing anything around. So the same thing holds good in theosophical parlance also. This is what we have understood or studied when we are considering the text, the key to theosophy. So we have covered these points there. Theosophy also says those who do not trust that there is life after death face the same fate. What is the fate? They were condemned to some other place where they cannot access the higher worlds or higher spheres. This is what will happen to a man who does this according to theosophy also. So he will have to face the same fate. They stay in a state of not recognizing anything around. So they are not able to recognize anything superior. Whatever they lived on earth is something which they are experiencing. So I am adding the life we lead on the physical plane is of paramount importance. How we live the life here is of paramount importance. If we live according to the laws of nature, according to the principles of nature, and if we are loving everyone and living, and if you believe that there is life after death, and if you have seen what continuity means, then you touch the higher spheres. But where somebody is not interested in anything other than material, then he faces the consequences of leading a material life, and so he will fall somewhere in between. He will not be able to touch the higher spheres, and he spends a lot of time not either belonging to the earth nor belonging to the higher spheres. So he will stay there. So this is what is conveyed so far. Then HPB is talking about matter again. HPB is saying that matter is indestructible and will survive in the form of particles and not in the forms which has appeared on the physical. So HPB is saying again that matter is indestructible. We cannot destroy the matter. We can perhaps break a glass. The glass which we use to take a cup of tea, that glass is destroyed all right, but then we have the glass particles. I make a powder of that, still the glass is retained in that. The matter is still continuing. So it's very difficult to destroy the matter. This is what HPB is saying, that matter is indestructible. In some form or the other, the matter will continue to live. This is what is being conveyed. Matter is indestructible and will survive in the form of particles and perhaps may not retain the form. Yes, the form is destroyed. When somebody wants to destroy the form is not there, but the contents of the particles, they remain. This is what is meant by this. So the person who was described as leading a material life. So we did look at a person who was leading a material life, material existence. So she's talking about that person. So the person who was described as leading a material life, the wise practiced can take an animal form, says Plato, resembling the evil ways. The man who was leading a life of material existence, he practiced a vice, opposite of virtue. Virtue is a good thing, vice is a opposite thing of good. So he practiced a vice. And having practiced that vice, what happens? Taking an animal form, Plato says, because he led a life and practiced vice, that vice will make him to take a form of an animal, says Plato. And perhaps the animal resembling evil ways which he led, with the evil ways, the same thing continues, takes the form of an animal. But those who led their life in a holy way, perhaps and live in such spheres. So as against a person who led a life of earthly life, materialistic life, and because he practiced certain vices, that vices will take the form of an animal, and then he has to continue to live in that form, resembling evil ways. Sometimes we hear people saying, if you do this, you'll be born as a dog, or you'll be born as a small crawling creature. What does it mean? It means the person, having been born as a man, cannot go back to the stage of an animal, all right, because that individualization has taken place. He cannot go back to the group soul again. But what will happen to him is he will lead a life, as suggested by this sentence here. He will lead a life. A dog will lead a life, maybe not all that happy dog living in a rich house or anything like that. Maybe a dog which is going or growing in the streets. Maybe it's a street dog, maybe fighting with other dogs for food or etc., etc. So it is leading evil ways. So this is what happens, is what the madam is saying. HPB is saying this. HPB is saying matter is indestructible and will survive in the form of particles, and the form is not retained. So the person who was described as leading a material life or material existence, the vice practiced by him can take an animal form, says Plato. She's quoting Plato. Plato says this, resembling the evil ways. So he will practice the evil ways because that is what he practiced while he was alive as a man. But those who led the life in a holy way, he led a life in a holy way, pious way, they recognize the higher worlds and live or dwell in such spheres. So because they led a purposeful life, a good life, a life full of values, so what happens to them? They are able to recognize the higher worlds. They are able to live in the higher worlds. They are able to concentrate to live in those spheres which belong to the higher realms, higher regions. Right. All the envelopes or bodies, one by one, all the envelopes or bodies, one by one, when they have to leave that surface, say for example the physical body, while leaving the earth, he has to drop the physical body. This is repeated at every stage. The immortal soul, the silvery streak, is not found in animals, but in man it remains. So what is it conveying? All the envelopes or bodies, one by one, when they have to leave that particular surface where it lived. So it leaves that body belonging to that surface and moves forward. This is what it is being conveyed. All the envelopes means the covers or the bodies, one by one, when they have to leave that surface, say the physical body, while leaving the earth. You are leaving the earth, one is leaving the earth, so the physical body is left behind. Someone is leaving the astral plane, so he leaves the astral body there. So this is what is being discussed now. So one by one, when they have to leave that surface, say the physical body, while leaving the earth, and this is how this process is repeated at every stage. The immortal soul, the silvery spark, it is repeated at every stage. The immortal soul remains. In man it remains. Immortal, there is nothing called death to it. All the rest of the bodies which are mortal, they drop. So every time when he is leaving physical space or physical area, he leaves the physical body. He leaves the astral plane, so leaves the astral body. He leaves the mental plane, so the lower body is gone. Like that, all these temporary bodies are getting dropped. And so, the immortal soul, the silvery spark, is remaining. And this immortal soul, this silvery spark, is not found in animals, it is only in man. So, sometime back, because their thought also can affect the ether, the old ancients believed that they have life after death. But this subsequent writing or subsequent information given, it says that the immortal soul is not there for an animal. Right. Unchanged and indestructible. What is unchanged? What is indestructible is the immortal soul in man. The immortal soul in man is unchanged and indestructible. There must be some way in which this also, there is only one thing which happens, that is getting merged with the ultimate. That's what will happen. But otherwise, as long as the need for taking reincarnation is there, then this immortal soul continues to remain unchanged and is indestructible. So, now the author says, that is HPB says, if living in the spiritual world, prapancha, if living in the spiritual world is a fact, after the physical death and the other bodies passing away, the process will be according to the law of evolution. This is what Madam is saying. If living in the spiritual worlds is a fact, if that is a fact, if man survives and he lives in the higher worlds, the spiritual worlds, if that is a fact, what is happening? After the death, of the physical death and other bodies passing away, means astral body falling off, the lower mental body falling off, the etheric double falling off, all this, after this physical death and other bodies passing away, the process will be according to the law of evolution. What does the law say of evolution? How they should evolve? So according to that law of evolution, this is going to exist. So if living in the spiritual world for a man is a fact, then after the physical death and other bodies also falling away or passing away, the process will be according to the law of evolution. So if man can go to higher spheres, this is the thought of few people. If man can go to higher spheres, why not other things in nature? If man can go to higher spheres, why not other things in nature? The life principle is there in animals, plants, and there is also decay after some time. So, the juxtapositioning of an argument is like this. If man can go to higher spheres, why not other things in nature? The life principle or the life principle is there in animals, is there in plants, and these also decay after some time. When man dies, it says according to the law of evolution, the bodies are falling away and whatever is immortal is remaining. Right? So, this particular thought is again done by the ancients or Kabbalists. The life principle being the same in man and in others, the life principle is there in animals too, in plants too. So these two, plants and animals also, they die, they decay after some time. So there are 4 divisions. This is what the explanation is given. If man can go, why not other things in nature? So plants also die, the animals also die. So why not these people also go? So this is the argument. Because they also die. There are 4 divisions. There are 4 divisions. One is the elemental kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, animal kingdom. He has not mentioned man. Man goes, this is after that. After animal evolution from animal, then we have the man. So there are 4 divisions, the elemental kingdoms, and the mineral kingdoms, and the vegetable kingdom, and the animal kingdom. Elements, there are 3, then the mineral, then the vegetable, then the animal. So these are all the divisions. So Professor Leconte, Leconte, Professor Leconte talked about these divisions. So he described these divisions and he said these divisions are existing. So Professor Leconte talked about these divisions. The progress is continuous. One kingdom after another, the life principle has to move on. The life principle having entered the elementary, it moves to the mineral, then it moves to the vegetable, then it goes to animal. So that's what is being stressed again. The progress is continuous. There is always progress. There is no stagnation. The progress is continuous. One kingdom after another, the life principle has to pass through. No skipping of any kingdoms. So the life principle having entered the elementary, it cannot go to vegetable. It has to go through the mineral and then go to vegetable. Having some way entered the mineral, it cannot skip vegetable and go into animal. So all four, elementary, mineral, vegetable, animal, they have to go through. There is no skipping or jumping from one kingdom to another kingdom. The mineral becoming a plant, plant becoming an animal, then from the animal to man, there is a path of evolution. The mineral becoming a plant, plant becoming an animal, then from an animal to man, there is a path of evolution. So this is how the evolution goes on. Even after the man, we know that there is further growth. So this is not there in the book, I am adding. For a man also, having been born as a savage man, then he becomes a refined man, then he starts living not for himself, also for others. So there is continuous evolution in man also. So this is the point which he is making. The life principle is there in animals, plants, and there is also decay after some time. That is, these plants and animals having lived for, say, couple of years or few years or maybe days, they decay, they die. There are four divisions according to Professor Leconte. He says elementary kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom. All these are divisions through which the life wave has to pass through, and the progress is continuous. One kingdom after another, the life principle moves from one kingdom to another kingdom. No skipping of any kingdoms. Question of jumping from one to another is not allowed. The mineral becoming a plant, plant becoming an animal, then from animal to man, the path of evolution progresses or evolution takes place. Right. She is introducing another point. Harmony is the great law of nature. Harmony is the great law of nature. Every living form progresses according to the divine plan. Harmony is the great law of nature. Every living form progresses according to the divine plan. We call it harmony at the physical. The same is referred to as justice in spiritual world. So the exact sentence which is there in the book is harmony in the physical and mathematical world. There is a precision in this world. That's why it's mathematical. Because there is mathematical, it is also physical. There is harmony in the physical world. But when it comes to spiritual, what happens? It is called justice. So harmony in the physical and mathematical world will become justice when it enters the spiritual world. That's what is the exact description given in the book. But what I wrote from my understanding, harmony is the great law of nature. Every living form progresses according to the divine plan. There is a divine plan, everything moves according to that plan. And every living form progresses according to the divine plan. We call it harmony at the physical level. The same is referred to as justice in spiritual world. Justice produces harmony. Both are interdependent. Harmony and justice, they go together. That's why this sentence, justice produces harmony. And injustice produces discord. Justice produces harmony and injustice produces discord, disagreement. So discord at cosmic level or disturbance at cosmic level is destruction or annihilation. So how, when there is a lot of confusion, chaos, and there is a lot of discord, one not looking at the other properly, when there is a discord, what happens is, there is perhaps the possibility of war. So at the cosmic level, discord means it is leading to destruction or annihilation. So justice produces harmony and injustice produces discord. So discord at cosmic level is destruction or annihilation. Annihilation also is destruction. Completely getting annihilated means there is no trace of it. That's what normally when we say annihilated. But then matter completely cannot be annihilated. It survives in some form or the other. That's what we have read some time back. So annihilation, complete annihilation is not possible. Some particles still remain. But for description's sake, discord at cosmic level is destruction or annihilation. If there is an immortal spirit in man, it must be there in a minuscule form in all live forms. This is what the Professor Leconto is saying. If there is an immortal spirit in man, because we say man has got that immortal spirit, it's a light-like, fountain-like, it is there in a man. If there is an immortal spirit in man, it must be there in a minuscule form in all the living forms or in all the life forms. In elementary kingdom, the mineral, the vegetable, the animal, everywhere, like it is there in man, the immortal principle is there in man, at least a minuscule form, the smallest component of that immortal form should be there in all live forms. So, this is what Leconte is saying. That develops and evolution is on. So that minuscule form, that small form, which is immortal, that is there, that starts growing again. When that starts growing again, that is the development which is taking place, and that is the evolution which is on, not devolution. It is the evolution which is on. When the small, immortal, minuscule form is kicking, it's coming live, that is development and that is evolution in one way. Right, harmony and justice, we have heard this. So, harmony and justice. Harmony is something related to the physical world. Justice is related to the spiritual arena. Then she is going on to another subject. She is going to another subject. There is a dogma. Dogma means something which we cannot shake off and say, no, can it be like this? Can it be like that? We can't ask a question. It's a dogma. They have presented it as a dogma. There is no scope for discussion. That's why it's called dogma. There is a dogma that everything is created for man and he is sovereign of the universe. This is some people's thinking. They say everything in this universe is created for man. Means man is supposed to enjoy everything which is there around him. So it's meant for him that all these things have been created. There is a dogma that everything is created for man and he is sovereign of the universe. Sovereign means he is a prince of the universe because he is able to enjoy everything. To save man from his misdeeds, to save that man from his misdeeds, the Lord died to placate or to lessen even his own wrath. This is another statement of the dogma. Dogma has two components. One thing is that everything is created for man. Every manifestation is for the benefit of man. Man is supposed to enjoy everything. That's why it is there, made before him or made for him. So, that is one belief, that everything is created for man's happiness and he is sovereign of the universe. Sovereign means prince-like in the universe because he is man. Rest of the things are all there for his enjoyment. Then next, to save the man from his misdeeds. To save the man from his misdeeds. the Lord died to placate or to lessen even his own wrath. God was not happy, that's what it means, but still to save man from his misdeeds. He has done a lot of misdeeds. The Christians call it sin. So all the sins are washed away by the blood of Jesus. That's what they believe, isn't it? So this is perhaps a reference to that sort of thing. To save man from his misdeeds, the Lord died to placate. Placate means to reduce. Like you build down the power of electricity from 1000 watts to 220 watts through a transformer. So placating is to lessen. The Lord died placating or lessening even his own wrath. He was very unhappy, but to reduce his happiness, he did this, or he attempted to do this, because he wanted to save the man from his misdeeds. Actually, we believe the misdeeds, we have to pay for it. But then, the Christians believe the misdeeds are taken care by the Lord. This vicarious atonement of sins we have read in the Key to Theosophy. God, our Lord, was unhappy with man's misdeeds. He was angry too. God, our Lord, was unhappy with man's misdeeds. He was angry too. He means God. God was angry too. Instead of, this is just a written portion. Angry really doesn't mean God is sitting there and showing anger, because that is not the quality of God. God, the ultimate power, only knows to love. So where is the question of, this is just a discussion. So this is being presented by the philosophers. What do they say? The Lord died to placate, to lessen even his own wrath. God, our Lord, was unhappy with man's misdeeds. He was angry too. Instead of destroying that man, destroyed himself to lessen or placate the anger or wrath. So this is what man has done. Instead of punishing the man, the Lord punished himself. So he did all this to save the man. Why should he save the man? We do not know. This seems to be the purpose for the Lord suffering for the misdeeds of man. Instead of destroying that man, destroyed himself to lessen or placate the anger or wrath. Wrath and anger is one and the same. The savage man's brain, the Conte is adding now, the savage man's brain is superior to that of an animal. The savage man, not the cultured man, the savage man who lived in the caves. The savage man's brain is superior to that of an animal and inferior to that of a philosopher. So, the savage man's brain is superior to that of an animal. He is better than an animal because he has got a brain, he has got a thinking power, he is a man. Though he is a savage man, his brain is superior to that of an animal and inferior to that of a philosopher. A philosopher may be very refined in his approach, maybe he is having very sharp memory, etc. So, he is inferior to that of philosopher, but superior to that of an animal. This is what savage man is made of. This is what is being conveyed to us by Lee Conte. Now, moving on to another subject, psychometry. You remember psychometry? We discussed in 4th or 5th chapter. Somebody has got a piece of stone or a brick out of a fort, say for example. He is able to hold that brick to his forehead and imagine or reconstruct in his mind all that fort has. The form of the fort, the contents of the fort, the entrances to the fort, all that he is able to visualize. So anything of the past relic, people used to have it and hold that against their forehead and recall what all that original figure of which relic he's got a part in his hand. This is psychometry. So moving on to another subject, psychometry, HPB says or quotes Professor Denton, D-E-N-T-O-N, Professor Denton. Astronomy will not disdain the assistance of this power. Astronomy will not disdain the assistance of this power. Psychometry is a power of using a portion of a building, a brick, but being able to see the whole of that building. So the subject or power of psychometry can be used to exactly see the starry heavens and see or locate new stars or new constellations of stars. So this is how psychometry can be used by astronomers and astrologists. This is why HPB is talking about this. Now, moving on to another subject, psychometry. HPB says or quotes Professor Denton, astronomy will not disdain, will not reject, that's what it means, will not disdain the assistance of this power, psychometry. And this is the power of using a portion of a building or a brick, but being able to see, because he is holding on to that brick or a portion of the building to his forehead, that psychometers, he is able to imagine, the person who is practicing psychometry is able to imagine the whole of that building. So this is possible through psychometry. So a brick, but being able to see the whole building. So the subject or power of psychometry can be used to exactly see the starry heavens and see or locate new stars or new constellation of stars. So using this psychometry, one can exactly see the starry heavens. The heavens is full of stars. So those stars can be studied as to what their composition is, how much of distance it is there, that star is hanging there from Earth. All these things can be discussed. Psychometry can be used to exactly see the starry heavens. Heavens is full of stars. This is what it is being described. And see or locate new stars. One could also see the new stars, not only the old stars, but new stars. Something which happens because they have come across something new at their continuous gazing. When they are looking, they are able to see something new. So they are able to locate new stars. And then what happens? Constellation of stars, the group of stars. Already there is some certain constellations like Osiris and things like that. But then there are new constellations which are there. Even those things are explored using psychometry. If trained persons using psychometries are available, if trained psychometers, people who are trained in psychometry are called psychometers, are available, we will know so much information of heavenly bodies and details of human history, says Professor Denton. So if there are trained psychometrists available, if there are people who are experts in psychometry, if they are available, what will be the advantage? We say we will know so much information of heavenly bodies. Heavenly bodies means planets, stars, etc. So we can know more about them. We can find out more details about them. So it's possible when we have the information through psychometry. So if trained psychometers are available, we will know so much of information of heavenly bodies and details of human history, says Professor Denton. Even the details of human history, because he has got a bone, say for example, a psychometrist has got a bone. And using the bone, he is able to imagine the man and the group of people who are living along with him. So he can give out better details of human history also. That is what Professor Denton is saying. Psychometry can be used in many ways. So the study of man is also possible, says Professor Denton. Psychometry was practiced extensively. Psychometry was practiced extensively by the ancients. Psychometry was practiced extensively by the ancients. The Chaldean astrologers, this also we have seen in the past. They could decipher so many things without using instruments, is what we have studied. So the same thing is being mentioned here. the Chaldean astrologers knew about